Hey guys, some people had asked if I would make a tutorial of the solo in Believe by the Bravery, which is something I've been practicing since pretty much the first day I picked up a guitar. So I put together this video that shows the method I use to play it and the way it's played, which I feel is very accurate because I've studied many concert videos on YouTube and I've actually listened to the album over 1,000 times. That might seem somewhat ridiculous, but it is my favorite song and I like to play it accurately, and the solo is hard to distinguish, so I've been working on it for a while and that's just the way it goes. Anyway, I've only been playing for a few months, so my technique here isn't that great and it doesn't sound that amazing when I'm playing it, but I'm sure that those of you who are skilled with guitar will be able to make it sound great once you know how to play it. So I know at least the parts that I'm playing are accurate, it's just not specifically the best technique. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it on the album and then I'm going to cover it and I'm going to break it down into little parts that make it up, and then I'll play it again and give you guys some pointers. But anyway, without any further description, here's the album. So that's the solo, and I'm sure that if you're trying to learn it, you've already heard it a bunch of times, but there's that. Now, the settings that I use on this amp, it's just a Fender Frontman practice amp, so it's nothing pretty exciting, and I don't have any effects pedals or any kind of stuff like that, but you could probably use some things like that to really jazz it up. But I just keep it on full mid-range, or the middle setting is all the way up, and then treble and bass are all the way down, which I found makes a big difference because with the treble turned down you don't have that ear-piercing noise that the solo otherwise provides. And the reverb is off, and then I have the gain set at about 3. Now I usually like to use the bridge pickup here because it gives it kind of a good driving, biting sound, but if you switch to the neck pickup, which I like to experiment around, it gives it kind of more of a classic sound, and it actually reduces, at least on this guitar, it reduces the distortion that comes from the hammer-ons and pull-offs and stuff. And this guitar is just a Fender Stratocaster and it's Mexican made, so it's nothing exciting. I don't have, you know, a dual point tremolo and it's not that great, but it sounds pretty good. So anyway, I'll play the solo again and I'll cover it as best as I can, but I'll probably make giant mistakes because like I said, I'm not that good at it. So that was a pretty rough, awful example of how to play this solo, but I'll break it down now, and those of you who are good at guitar will be able to do a good job at it. So the first part, it starts out, is actually pretty easy and it's fairly slow. And so I'm left-handed, as you may have noticed, and if you're right-handed you can just mirror the screen because I'll try and show you the frets that this is on. I usually slide up from anywhere down here, but that's not actually really necessary because I don't think they do it on the album, but it kind of sounds cool. So up to the 11th fret, and then so it's pretty simple there, and I mean you just watch that a couple times and get the fingering down. It's really easy to play actually. And I screwed up that one note, but I actually usually do that right. So anyway, then it goes up to this part. Now he gets some cool sounding noise out of this part. I can never get this note to sound anything more than kind of just a little twang, but he makes it sound pretty good. So I don't know if you can do some vibrato or whatever, but now I did a pull off there which didn't come through very well, but it's, you have to drop down to that string, and he does that pretty fast. Of course I'm doing this way slower than normal, but anyway. Now the next part is the hardest part, and the part that I really don't make it sound good at all. It's a bunch of hammer-ons and pull-offs, and it sounds like on the album it's actually done with a phaser or something because it's very kind of clumped together, muddled. I don't have any technical words for you, but in the concerts he sounds a little more distinct on this part. So this is how you do it, and it's hammer-ons and pull-offs. So it's basically taking place on the 9th and 6th frets up here, and then it goes down to the 8th and 6th frets, which is where the harmony of the song is. So you can actually play stuff on those throughout the whole song and it sounds decent. But once here, twice here, twice here, and this is the hardest part because you're going from here to here. You can use either your 3rd or 4th finger, but I find the 4th one easier to switch to the next notes. But anyway. And that one's hard to do fast because you're not going to get your pick up to this string, or at least I can't, so you just have to kind of tap that one. And then this twice, and then once. Okay, so there's that part. It's very difficult for me to play very well, but that's how it breaks down, and that is accurate. I'm quite sure of it. Then grab this one, do a nice bend on this string. So that's the 3rd string and the 8th fret. So nice bend right there. So basically bend, then pull off to the 6th fret, and then down to that string. And then slide your 2nd finger down to here, 4th fret, and then 6th. So that's that part. So I'll play that quickly. So there's basically the whole solo. It's actually pretty simple once you break it down, and it's hard to distinguish because it's fast, but it sounds pretty good. Now, I, as you saw earlier, did not do a good job of playing it, but I will try again with one more time now that you know kind of what's going on, and we'll see if I can do it better than the last time. So that's basically what you got. Now I pretty much missed this note because I can't get my finger down there fast enough, but for those of you who are good at guitar, this shouldn't be too big of a deal at all. So just practice and practice just like I have been, and I clearly need to do more, and you'll have a pretty good rendition of that solo. And there's some videos online, one where the Bravery appears on Jay Leno's show, and then one where they're at, it's called Tivoli, which I think is in Europe, and there's a couple really good spots where they actually show him playing this. Him being Mike Zacharin, the lead guitarist, of course, him playing that part. So I was able to find the fingering that way, even by enlarging the screen and stuff. Now there is another part to the solo that's played by Sam Endicott on the rhythm guitar, but it's only at the start. It's actually really easy, but since I'm doing the solo, I might as well throw that in here too. At the start of the solo, he plays a little harmonization part, which I mentioned in a previous video that I did about this. In fact, that was the point of the video. And then he goes back into the chorus notes. So I switched the pickup to middle because that's what he's playing on the whole song, and then also the gain gets turned down to about 2 because, well, more like 2.5, because anyway, that's the way he's got it going. Turn up the volume a little bit to compensate for the gain going down, and then it takes place up here, which is, I haven't actually counted, 12, 15, 17, it's the 18th and 16th frets. So and then he goes down to this. But just like that. Basically just walk your fingers down the 2nd string. He doesn't go down to any other strings, which is both easy and challenging. You know, you don't have to move your pick around at all, but you do have to get that walking down, which isn't hard at all. I mean, I did it, so it's clearly not hard. And then back into the regular chorus line. So I'll actually play it again with that instead of the Zacharin part that I was doing. I missed the last note because I wasn't even paying attention. But anyway, you get the idea, and I'm sure that this video will help you guys who are trying to figure out the solo. And then I'd like to see somebody play it a lot better than me, because I'm really disappointed in my own efforts here, but I keep practicing it, so you know, it's just the way it is. But hopefully that helped, because I know it was difficult for me to figure out all those little details, so I'm sure that those of you who like to play this are also having some trouble. So there's my tutorial, and try and do it better than me.